you, Spurs.
I was like, what noise does a Spur make?
Yeah, they are coming.
It jingles and jangles.
Yeehaw is on their way to a 10-game winning streak, which they took to Brooklyn. And sorry, Nets, kept the pedal to the metal. First quarter here. Porter Jr. trying to go for the slam, but when Wemby is there, that is just going to be a casualty, Brian.
He backhanded it.
He backhanded him on that block. Jumping to the second here, Wemby kicks it out to Champagnie. Champagnie, by the way, Sinead, he shot 6 of 9 from 3 in this one for 26 points.
I'm telling you, he is like, they have, oh my gosh, elevation. Speak of elevation, they have surrounded Wemby with beautiful collection of diverse talent, and that's why they keep ascending the standings.
Castle's athleticism, I raise you, Vassell to Wemby.
What do you do?
What are you going to do with that play?
You don't do
that.
anything.
That is an unstoppable play.
You run the other way.
Oh my God.
Harper drives to the paint.
Sorry, Nets.
He's been watching Wemby. Finishes with the slam. The Spurs having their way with this one. They get the Nets 126-110. And they finish February.
Mindy's right. The playoff experience is the concern, but they've had OKC's number. Wemby to win Western Conference Finals MVP 10-1.
I love the way you look at it. I love breaking it down like that, and that's why I always find your perspective on these things so interesting. So, Monica, I want to come to you because, we just came off a football season in which I found myself saying almost every week, well, the Patriots, they're so young. They're ahead of schedule. There's no way in the world. And then the next thing I know, I'm living in a world where they're in the Super Bowl. The Spurs feel similar to that to me in that they feel like they're at least 1 year ahead. But Wendy was sort of the first voice I really trust saying, wait a minute, this team could actually make a run all the way to the finals. Monica, are you buying it?
Am I buying that they could, Greeny? 100%. Right now, am I still out on the fact that they actually will? Yes. I love your analogy in terms of what the Patriots were able to achieve, but I have real concerns about the nature of a series for this group. I mean, we've seen, listen, the only, we'll put non-regular season around it. Experience that we've seen from the Spurs so far was what happened in Vegas when they lost to the Knicks in the NBA Cup. And I'm not saying that truly indicates big game and postseason, but everybody there, as you listen to those press conferences, acknowledged that felt different and it was designed to simulate that experience. Now, is that experience enough to propel them through 3 series? I'm just not sold.
Okay, I want to go to the next one as we go around the league last night. Kevin Durant, remember him? He scored.
Defeated, a perfect 11-0 this month. And Sinead, they're averaging almost 125 points per game. The last team to average 120 points per game and go 10-0 or better in a month, we got to go all the way back to 71-72 when the Lakers, they did it twice that season. And then what do? They went on to win the title. Here's Victor Wembanyama.
How do you try to block out that noise and just continue trying to play the winning basketball that you have?
I think about like odds.
Just the favorites to get out of the West, or one of the favorite teams to get out of the West.
I mean, you're the first one to tell me about it, so block out that noise, I guess. Can you take away his mic?
So Wemby's starting to lean in a little bit, starting to recognize a little bit and say to the world just a bit, yeah, we kind of know where we are.
He's not shy.
But have you learned something that you didn't know about this team before this streak?
Yes, because they've been a number 1 or number 2 defensive team the whole year.
Okay.
But what they've done on this streak, which, by the way, has been all on the road. This is their rodeo road trip. When they won all those championships with Popovich, the rodeo road trip was, there you go. The rodeo road trip was always where they crystallized. We saw that year after year in the Pop era. So during this 11-game win streak, they're the number 2 offensive team. They got 7 guys in this win streak that are averaging in double figures. All of them, Sinead, are in their 20s. And the oldest one is De'Aaron Fox, who's 28. Champagnie, most of them are under 25. Champagnie last night had a career high. He's 24. So not only are they formidable with the future, I've just come to terms with the fact they're formidable in the present.
Yep.
You said that Wemby says he doesn't need to be pushed. We all see that. We all experience that. What's kind of funny is I learned that personally because for a long time my Instagram bio, yes, my Instagram bio was tougher than Nigerian hair because obviously, but I just changed it for the first time in almost a decade, and it says I beat Victor Wembanyama in 2K. And when I saw him for the first time in a while since we did our commercial, he walked up to me, didn't even say hi, hello. He's always friendly, right? He says, I'm gonna bust your ass. And I said, oh my gosh, like we're taking this seriously. And obviously it was in fun and jest, but that is his mentality when it comes to video games. Can you imagine what his mentality is when it comes to games? And then the second question I said is, how are you doing? He said, it finally feels good to win and to really win. And that's when I knew he does not need motivation. He does not need validation. All he needs are results. And during the time where they're 11-0, he averaged 23-11. He has been leading by example on top of like the 4 blocks. So yeah, he takes everything personally, and it brings out the best in the squad.
And then you look at this, Janae, he's going to have to take this schedule personally because it's tough, right? Over the next 14 games, they face 5 of the NBA's top 7 teams. By the way, none of what I'm saying right now scares the Spurs or Victor Wembanyama. But their other 2 games in that span are at 76ers, and then they're at home against the Clippers, but it is the second night of a back-to-back. We mentioned going to the Garden up next. Well, Wemby shows up when the lights are bright on Broadway. This is Christmas 2024, the last time he was in the Garden. He had a game-high 42 points, 18 rebounds, 4 blocks, 4 assists. It was a 3-point loss to the Knicks, but a heck of a stat line there.
Can't forget that.
How long's the streak going, Brian?
To win the championship. And that one dog in particular is Stephon Castle. What I saw him do against Cade Cunningham 2 games ago in Detroit, Cade Cunningham had the worst game of the season. 5 for 26 from the field. And now they're a game and a half back from OKC. They're going to get the number 1 spot. And I don't want to hear anything about lack of experience because I believe they understand the mission. The mission is they want to get as many home games as they possibly can in this postseason, and it's going to favor them. The San Antonio Spurs will win the NBA championship this year.
No, they will not. Kendrick Perkins is wrong. They are not going to win the NBA championship this year. They're not even coming out of the West this year. I believe one of the 2 teams, meaning the Denver Nuggets or the Oklahoma City Thunder, despite losing 4 games in 5 meetings against San Antonio this year, will derail the San Antonio Spurs from going to the NBA Finals. I don't think they're beating both. I don't think they're getting through both to come out of the West. They will win a championship within the next 2 to 3 years with Wembanyama. He's going to win several championships. Matter of fact, I would have put it past him to win it next year. I just don't think it's going to be this year because I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is going to come back and remind everybody who the hell he is. I think Jalen Williams ultimately will come back, and the combination of those 2 in the backcourt will be a huge help. And I think Holmgren and those guys will respond like champions do, and they'll answer the call. And I certainly believe that Jokic and Jamal Murray is going to have something to say about it. I respect the hell out of the San Antonio Spurs. They are ahead of schedule, and they deserve to be. Stephon Castle is that dude, no question about it. Okay, I think their record's like 9-2 against the top 3 seeds in the National Basketball Association. So Kendrick Perkins is not off his rocker. I don't blame him for making this prediction. It's not beyond the pale or anything like that. I just believe that between the Thunder and the Nuggets, with Houston outside looking in, I got questions about their point guard play. That's why I'm not picking Houston in this equation. But I'm just looking at it from that standpoint, and I'm saying the San Antonio Spurs, as formidable as they are, I'm still not picking them ahead of both Denver and OKC. One of those teams will get them, and Kendrick Perkins will be wrong with his prediction.
Have you seen Denver over the last month and a half? What have you looked when you watch the Denver Nuggets?
Jokic hasn't been himself. I don't think that's going to continue. I don't think that's going to continue.
Why? We're
because I believe in Jokic.
Half away, damn near 2 months from. I believe in Jokic as well, but it's the others for me. Like, they haven't shown me right now that they could be elite for his perimeter defense. They had a good win the other night against the Boston Celtics, but as Wendy alluded to yesterday on First Take, the Boston Celtics were coming off a back-to-back. Nothing right now is convincing me that the Denver Nuggets are a real threat in the Western Conference. When you talk about soft tissue injuries that Aaron Gordon is battling right now, that hamstring, the same hamstring injury he battled last postseason. When you talk about Peyton Watson, a guy who's having a career year, he's out with a hamstring injury. And then I'm thinking about SGA, right? I know SGA is phenomenal, but he's coming back off a soft tissue injury as well, abdominal strain. So then we looking at J-Dub, just re-injured that soft tissue injury. And who's to say that they're going to play both of these teams in order to get to where they're trying to go? Because in a perfect world, if it happens the way I figure it's going to happen, I believe that the San Antonio Spurs are going to get the #1 spot. The Oklahoma City Thunder are going to finish second. The Denver Nuggets are going to eventually finish third. And so the OKC Thunder and the Nuggets are going to have to duke it out to get to the Western Conference Finals. I'm not.
Hold on.
All right, what?
I'm not picking San Antonio to get the #1 seed. I think OKC is going to hold on to the #1 seed. I think San Antonio is going to get the second seed.
And also, one of the toughest remaining schedule.
I'm not worried. Listen, only people I'm worried, only team I'm worried about against OKC is San Antonio. I ain't worried about nothing else. They're gonna roll through everybody else. They're gonna hold on to the #1 seed. All right, San Antonio's going to be a top 2 seed, and we'll go from there. And oh, by the way, Wendy, I think Wendy will co-sign this. Perk, we've watched the Denver Nuggets on many, many occasions, and obviously with Jokic being, hobbled to some degree, but still doing what he does, we've seen at times where they haven't, quote unquote, been themselves, and then the playoffs roll around, and they remind you who the hell they are, and they put you in a dogfight no matter who the hell they're going up against. I expect that Denver Nuggets team to show up in the postseason. That's why I'm saying what I'm saying.
Wendy, final word.
So Shay, 3 years ago, I went to